right, guys, we're back again in Sports Convos. You would say, hey, this guy's a little bit dull today. Yeah, maybe you already know what's happening. Man City won the title, and don't ask me any question after that, all right? So it's all about the Sport Convos. And trust me, guys, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I think that's, it's just there for you. Hit that subscribe button, and content fresh out of Sport Convos you begin to get on the dial. And as you would always know, we have another fan in the building. So please make welcome my fan of the day and my guest. Could you introduce yourself and we just get into this?
Yeah, my name is Jidechi, and we share the same sentiments for the rubbish that happened.
Yeah.
Sad stuff. Shouldn't have happened. But yeah, we are here. Next season we go again.
Yes, I'm almost tempted. Would Arsenal win the season next time? So let's just
let's not go into that. The one that happened this year, we did not expect it. Let's take it like that.
Okay. So I have a lot of things that we need to just have this convo around. And in no particular order, we'll just be, having this conversation, ensuring, to give insight your own perspective to, things on ground. For starters, since we're talking about the EPL and how it went down, I want to bring it home in terms of the EPL. How did our Nigerian players fare in that whole 38 weeks of the EPL? But the way I'm coming from would be in terms of the teams that were relegated. It was Southampton, Leeds, and Leicester. Yes, Leicester that less than 5 years ago, they won the title. But let's look at it from the teams that got relegated, the Nigerian players in those teams. How would you see, their performance this season, and as they go into the next season, do you think there is a future for this set of players we're talking about? And I'm talking about
Onuachu.
I'm talking of Onuachu, Paul Onuachu, and Joe Aribo. But as for Southampton, and we have Spider-Man, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Ndidi.
Winfred
Ndidi.
Sometimes you tend to forget that Ndidi is still playing football.
Yes. And it's interesting to know that Ndidi, maybe 5 seasons ago, he was,
Manchester United.
Man U, even though, Man U,
it's actually sad.
But let's hear your perspective in terms of the guys who went down and that effect, because there's also that conversation around if the top guys in the national team, Super Eagles, are being regulated, that spiral effect on that. But let's hear from you.
I don't think it's a case of them being relegated. It's just a case of their level. Perhaps we shouldn't be having players that should be in the Premier League, because the Premier League is the very top of the very top. I was having this conversation some time ago at work with my colleagues. We don't have players who should be playing at top level football, because you watch what they play at their club sides and when they played in the national team. How many times can you really say this is top level football? You have how many can you think about now? Let's say beyond Victor Osimhen, and the next big thing in Europe right now should be maybe a Samuel Chukwueze. And Chukwueze has stayed at Villarreal for how many years now? He has not been able to go up. He has not been able to go beyond that. Can you particularly say Chukwueze, if he leaves Villarreal today, would go higher than that? So in terms of the players that play in the Premier League and the level, it's their level, to be very frank. They are perhaps cut out for low-level teams. I don't know what it is about, say, Joe Aribo that got relegated with Southampton. I really was expecting much more. If we remember back last season, well, we are done with the season now, so say last two seasons. Rangers, when you talk about Joe Aribo and Calvin Bassey. Calvin Bassey moved to Ajax. I was expecting that Joe Aribo would get a bigger deal.
In terms of even Joe Aribo, there was this, conversation then because of his closeness to what's his name?
Steven Gerrard.
Stevie G. He was going to come to Aston
Villa,
Aston Villa,
yeah.
and I saw that.
That's true. Wow.
Southampton. I'm like, oh my.
Wow.
Where did this happen?
Now I'm remembering it. I'm like, why? Why didn't he just go? Actually, but the thing is, it's sad. It's not every of our players that you would say should be in very big clubs. Average teams at best is where they are. It's their level, to be fair. We've not seen players, and perhaps it's one of the reasons why you come to the national team and you still see somebody like Victor Osimhen is the best performer. That's to tell you something. At some point, we used to talk a lot about Wilfred Ndidi, how he used to perform, how they talk about him at Manchester United and all of those. It's very obvious that if they are that much top quality, when it comes to the national team, it will not be hidden. You can evidently see it. But we've not had that type of thing. Think about the days of when, say, Okocha and Kanu them, we are in the national team. You see the quality in the national team, but when last can you say you've actually seen that type of thing? So perhaps they are where they are meant to be, Division 2.
So a follow-up question to that, in terms of these 4 guys that went down, which one do you see would come up?
Iheanacho. I think Iheanacho is the one person. Beyond Iheanacho, every other person, be sure they are playing championship football next season. Very sure. Worst part, I would have said Aribo, but he didn't get to play much. I really don't know what happened at Southampton for him, that he didn't get to play much. I would have said Aribo. But as it stands, nah. Has to be. You have to also feel bad for someone like Onuachu, who should have been talking about European football
next season.
Should have been talking about European football, but I mean, it is what it is.
The EPL showed him, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has his own taste of the EPL. Even Guardiola, highest defeat in any league happened at the EPL.
Let's not hype EPL. With what Haaland did this season, let's stay away from that. Let's not hype the EPL right now.
Okay, I know most of these dudes, Nigerian stars, are in country. At least we saw the picture of Bukayo Saka and Iheanacho in country. I also saw that of Joe Aribo somewhere in Lagos as well.
Yeah, so, actually, they would be playing. I think they should be having their training session in Lagos or something. I saw the news earlier this morning. Nigeria playing. Who are we playing? Sierra Leone in our next AFCON qualifier, the away game. Yeah,
all right.
We are playing in June. So I learned they are camping in Lagos because the pitch they will be playing in Sierra Leone is an artificial turf. That's why most of them. So more of them should be coming out.
Okay, cool. Now, so before we just leave this. Yes, you had mentioned, we have talked about the guys who went down from a Nigerian standpoint in the EPL. Yeah. Who would you call as your standout player from a Nigerian perspective in the EPL?
That's not a question, to be fair. It's very... Awuni is here. The rest are here. The best you say maybe Awuni is at this level, Iheanacho is this way, and then the rest of them are under the table.
So for you, it's Taiwo Awuni. If there is an award for best Nigerian player for the EPL 2022-23 season.
Has to be him. I remember before he came, there was this conversation about can he actually break into Nottingham Forest, because before they went on the shopping spree, they have Brennan Johnson, who young striker, English striker, and also performing. It's very difficult for you to bench that kind of player. Yeah. So you had to actually compete against Brennan Johnson. And I think, I've forgotten this other guy, they eventually did sell him. Oh, sorry, he was on loan, because most of Nottingham Forest players, they were on loan. Yeah. So there was this other striker that I always wondered, was he going to be able to break the partnership of Brennan Johnson and the other person? And then their captain, who they let go, or say his contract finished, they were the three of them really performed for them. So the question was Awoniyi going to be able to break into the team? And as at the time he came, Nottingham Forest, they're buying more. I remember when Awoniyi came into the team, I was like, yay, Nigerian player, Premier League and everything. And next thing, new player today, new player tomorrow. I'm like, God, I beg, may this boy see playing his time. And then at the end of the day, he plays one, he plays two, maybe might not play for like 2 matches, and then whenever he comes, he performs. And then we see how he was able to actually keep them at the end of the season. So it's pretty impressive to see that. His form at Union Berlin, although at this point you would be like, yeah, he shouldn't have moved because Union Berlin are in the Champions League.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you consider the fact that he was able to hit as much as 10 goals in his first season in the Premier League, it's pretty impressive.
Does that mean he might likely move to another team?
I don't know. Nottingham Forest, I want to believe they'll do everything to keep him. So I doubt he's moving.
Okay. Talking about moving or leaving, right? News out there says the World Cup winner, Lionel Messi, is leaving PSG.
I don't want to talk about this conversation.
Yeah, so...
You didn't need to cheat the fact that he's a World Cup. Don't do that. I'm a Ronaldo fanatic.
No, allow it. Just breathe and allow it. Just
I know, you don't need to say it.
Maybe no vex. Okay. Where do you think he will be going? I know there has been conversation around, that big money deal in Saudi Arabia. And in beneath there's that conversation that he wasn't properly sent off from Barca, and, Xavi wants him to come to 1 season or 2 seasons, win 1 or 2 things and do a proper thing. What's your take on that?
Don't do it, Barcelona. Don't do it. It will not end well. We saw it with Ronaldo. It will not end well. I don't see a reason why Barcelona are thinking of bringing this guy back. Xavi have been able to build this squad to evolve off what they knew, which was playing around Messi, that they did for a long time. There's no need going to Barcelona. To be frank, if they want to do that, I can only say it's not going to end well. I don't see it ending well. Why it will not end well, I don't know, but I just have a feeling it's not going to end well. That's 1. 2, Messi doesn't feel like he wants to play. He doesn't act like he wants to play football anymore. So originally what I would have said before the whole Saudi Arabia talk came up was, go and retire. That's what I think. Go and retire. There's literally nothing you're playing for anymore. We can see it in his attitude. I don't know if it's what it is or he was no longer enjoying PSG. Perhaps it's a case of he was no longer enjoying PSG. Perhaps. But from what I deduce, until he moves to a new team, I think it's just a case of, man is tired. He has gotten everything. What else is he playing for? So, yeah, I would say right now, with Saudi Arabia in the sights, go and make money for your family.
Just like how somebody couched it, it says football is a profession that you get in at a very tender age. And when you hit your 30s, you can now decide what really you want to do in life. So it's
that's what it is. If you don't want to play, just go and entertain. And that's an interesting thing. Messi is that kind of player. You don't need to do too much. Just go and entertain them in Saudi Arabia. They most likely will increase your contract 3 months.
So talking about, leaving the conversation around Messi, where he lost it, moving into what has always been themed the biggest European Cup level or Championship level money spinner. We're talking about the UEFA Champions League. Yeah, and we have 2 not too fanciful team in the finals.
Oh God, Milan fans will be this.
Like
fans will be this.
Like 2 fanciful.
We are talking about 3-time champions.
Hello, yes, fanciful because the first thing that hits you.
Yeah, I get it.
When you're talking of UEFA Champions League final, the first thing that hits you is like, okay, it's Real Madrid. right, or the AC Milans, or the Chelseas, or the Man U's, but the guys that are playing this final is City. Now we have that City that is being coached by Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
You also have the Erling Haaland in that whole team. Now Inter Milan is coached by Simone Inzaghi, and of course Laturo also spearheads, including. One time, Chelsea returnee, Lukaku, yeah, or whatever. When do you think this will swing? I'm sure that the red side of Manchester would say Inter. And the red side,
or objectively,
and the red side of Milan will say so.
This is the part you start by answering with Let me see. Okay, let's do this. You started by underrating Inter. Very wrong. Inter are 3-time champions. They are not new to this game. Okay, so that's the funny thing about this final. So Inter are not new to this game with a coach that is new in this. City are new to this with a coach that is experienced in this. So it's so evenly matched that you're so confused about who could actually win it. Yes, you might say Inter did not have exactly the season that City had in England. But I mean, City were not top of the table for that long. So we didn't even think City were going to win the league. It just dropped on their laps at some point. Arsenal decided to be Arsenal. When you think about it, City have one title on the verge of getting the second one if they get the FA Cup. Inter have 2 titles. So this is literally 2 teams that are playing possibly the best football in Europe at this moment. So there's really not much you can say that this is why this game is so one-sided, that one person is getting this. The point I'm trying to make is, I don't know the answer to that question.
I like the way that you painted the narrative.
I don't know the answer to that question.
So it can swing either ways.
It could swing, it could go both, it could go either side.
But putting into consideration the men, those 11 players, now when you do an assessment of both teams and you look at the caliber of the guys that would get the stuff done, I'm talking of the team in Man City and of course, Inter Milan. Inter Milan team, it reminds you of a retirement plan kind of footballers there, because you have things like Mkhitaryan, Lukaku.
But that's the point. Retirement or not, what's better than retiring with the Champions League in the bag?
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, there's nothing bigger than that in terms of your retire. It's just like, what's his name? Zlatan. Zlatan will enter and say, Zlatan will come and stay for a 38-game season. He will just come, play 3 or 2 matches, and he has one league title. That's proper retirement. What's bigger than that? So, retirement or not, it's better that they get the title, and I mean, nobody will be thinking
leaving
about
the conversation around, City or Inter Milan in terms of who goes or who doesn't win the Champions League. I just feel it's going to be. I'm open to good football. I need to be entertained on that day. And
I'm open to my hating to be solidified. Pep Guardiola to not win that title.
Got it. Talking about, moving from Pep Guardiola, we are going to Pochettino, right?
Okay.
I think he was just announced recently as,
yeah,
you know the name of the club, I just know his name.
I told you, if you are just in the club that will not be mentioned, I will understand.
And he has an Herculean task in front of him. Yeah. And one of the questions that, we can just throw here and, we just try to think through it is, they bought a lot, especially in January. And, the team that had been there prior to January, if you were in Pochettino's shoes right now, which player would you get rid of?
You started by saying they bought a lot, and then you ask who they should buy.
No. Get rid of. Get rid of.
Okay.
Get rid of
Okay.
because with so much investment in
Let me
January,
check for Chelsea's squad.
and everybody thought that they would, fight for the title or compete for the title. They got Enzo, they got Modric, they got everybody that you thought every other club was looking for, and they just come at the dime minute to snatch the deal. Obviously,
that's true. That Chelsea ambassador thing.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not sure the players lived up to expectations. So, on this note, that's why that question is coming. Who should they get rid of in that team?
Well, already Pochettino has said he's not going to continue João Felix, so that's one. Personally, I love Felix. I would have loved to see
In fact,
Felix.
that was the only player that was inspiring in that Chelsea team.
I would have loved to be fair, I would have loved to see Felix remain in the team. But Pochettino has said, I will be frank. Okay, maybe say Aubameyang. I can't believe I'm saying this. At some point, Aubameyang used to be one of my favorite players.
Yeah, but
I think he's done. He's done.
Yeah, he needs to go more. He needs to go clubbing.
He's done.
Yeah.
Kante, no. Please keep Kante. Who again?
So,
to be fair, okay, let's just say, leave Felix. Felix is all on the coach. If I was to advise him, I would say keep Felix. I would say Aubameyang for the big players that are there right now. I can't think of any other person I would say should leave the team. My personal advice to Pochettino, if I were to see him now and speak to him, I'll just tell him, keep everybody. Keep everybody. Personally, that's what I think. Keep the entire squad. Okay, so this is what I think. I don't even know what it is at Chelsea. I don't know. What's his name? The man that was there before Potter. Tuchel. I don't know what it is that Tuchel couldn't figure out with that team. Perhaps he needed more time, I would say.
But he won the Champions League with the same team.
Yeah, that's the point. A lot of new players came into the squad. The whole thing with Russia and Ukraine upsetted the squads, the chairman leaving, and the manner in which he left. So, personally, I think the one mistake that Chelsea made, that's the new owner, was letting Tuchel go at the time he did. He really should have let him stay. Perhaps Tuchel would have been able to fine-tune, walk around. It wouldn't have been this bad. Brought in an inexperienced manager at that level, experienced at the level he was, that's Brighton. It just felt like the time David Moyes left Everton for Manchester United. You know, there are levels at which you should be at a particular time. Potter was not ready for the Chelsea level. Personally, I thought it was a good deal at the time it happened, but we saw how it went. He was not ready for that level. And then you go bring back a Lampard. To be frank, with a decent manager, it wouldn't be that bad.
I like the way you said they went to bring a Lampard, to be frank. I get it. Nice. So, to be fair, let's stick with to be frank.
It wouldn't be that bad. And that's why I think bringing a Porsche, they would get decent results. They would compete. So, you have all the time to work with the squad. Try and control yourself. That's talking about, what's his name, the new owner. He should try and control himself this time around, no matter how bad it is. Keep Pochettino to stay as long, at least let him stay till December. And I want to bet you that Chelsea will be top 4 by December. Pochettino should be able to get that squad to play the football that Chelsea fans want them to play.
So,
and this is from somebody who would not want Chelsea to succeed on a very good day.
I like the fact that you are calling out that caveat. And which also, so in terms of this same Chelsea team, there are conversations around Mason Mount moving or speculations going to United. Should he go? Should he stay?
Who does he want to chase out of?
For me, I don't even care right now because I struggle to even see there's so much hype around him, to be very honest.
No. Why do people keep saying this? Mason Mount is a very decent player.
Okay.
In comparison to many other players that would be in his same position in the Premier League, I think he's a very decent player.
Okay, so he should go or she should stay?
I would say stay because Chelsea would need him.
Good.
This whole idea of Chelsea trying to relieve players, nah, not me. I don't think so. They should keep as much as possible, keep everybody. Don't add a new player. Let's see about not adding a new player.
Because
I know somebody who costs me right now for saying Chelsea should not bring in a new striker and remain on someone like Havertz. So I would say maybe bring. The question is, where do you want to find them that striker?
No.
From?
But there is this conversation that Poch gets into that team and he says he needs a goalkeeper, he needs a striker, and he needs a defender.
Kepa is doing well.
You understand? Like, so if he was doing well, why did they get Mendy? But
no, at the time. So the way Chelsea has gone, they've gone from Kepa was the horrible one to Mendy coming to cover up for him, and then Mendy became the horrible one, and then Kepa is now the one doing the job. Personally, I think Kepa is in decently. If they are going to replace, let Mendy go, get a backup keeper. That's what I think.
In terms of going or staying, England, we always hear that the problem of England is Harry. There is a Maguire, there's the son, there's the Royal Harry, and of course there's the Hurricane. There's also Harry Potter.
Nice.
Okay, so there's this thing, United, whispering to his ears, there was this time that, Harry Kane was touted to move to City. That didn't happen because he had so much, love for Tottenham. Now,
I don't think it's love. I think their deal is they are using witchcraft to keep him at Tottenham.
Yeah. So now, if for someone like Harry, who we feel is more like he's not getting the accolades that he deserves because someone season in, season out, he's doing double figures. Would a United move be appropriate for him, or you would advise he goes abroad? It could be in Bayern, it could be in Madrid.
We're talking about a player that does not have ambition. Be it United is a great option, City is a great option, wherever he goes is a great option. Just leave Tottenham Hotspur.
So
that is all it is. Just leave.
Just leave.
See, the point is we are talking, if you even ask him to go and play for, say, who are we going to use now? Okay, let's use something mouth-watering. I don't want to believe that Real Madrid have not even inquired about him. I'm not talking about offered, inquired. I want to believe that, like in Madrid have said, Harry Kane, would you be interested? And I want to imagine that maybe as they were saying Harry Kane, he'd be like, no. I love this club.
I'm doing well here.
I don't know, to be frank, I don't know. Even this season, the talk of he's going to stay another at least one more season. The funny thing is they always come with the whole at least one more season. Or say, is it at least or at most? I can't even remember the way they coined that thing. It always stays more than one season. At this point, I've given up on Harry Kane leaving Tottenham Hotspur. He's going to retire at the club. It's simple as that. So
he retired as a legend, and they name one side of the stadium after him.
I'm glad you laughed after you asked that question because, come on, is that what a footballer wants? Come on. Is that what you want for your career?
Okay, so talking about who is leaving, who is staying, who should stay, who should leave, who should be spoken about, and I think you had already mentioned it earlier. If you find yourself as, owners of Napoli, would you allow Osimhen to go? Would you allow Osimhen to go? And if you sell, what value would you put on his head?
The question is in two parts. The first one you ask is, will I allow him to go? No. So the fact that I will not allow him to go means that I'm not putting any value on his head. So who was it? That one was even still when PSG went and stole Neymar from Barcelona. I'm very sure they didn't see that happening. The best way is, the thing is, Osimhen's contract will eventually run out, and it's only advisable. Spalletti has left, and it's the best thing he can do for himself. When you compete like that, where nobody expected anything from you, It's just good you run away. You see the way Zidane won 3 Champions League and it's as if he has retired. He knows what he's doing. He knows that the next place he goes to, people will look at him with serious eye. Spalletti has done that. And it's only fair to say that for Spalletti leaving, you're not exactly sure how Napoli's next season will be. They are going to be playing Champions League football also again. So you're not very sure. So you can't also say Osimhen might be having an exciting season like he did this season. Napoli owners obviously would want to keep him. But this is me speaking from the Nigerian point of things. I would advise Osimhen to stay one more season, whether you have a great season or not. Stay because the fans love you. You're a god in their eyes already. Stay. But don't stay forever. Napoli is not the biggest, the creme de la creme of Europe. So you really want to play at the very big levels. Stay for one more season because the fans love you. But be very sure that if you mess up next season, well, I don't know how Italian fans are, but this is a black man.
Yeah, they come from here.
This is we are talking about a black man here.
Yeah.
So you want to imagine what will happen to Osimhen when he stays next season and does not put in this kind of performance of this
blank
season.
all through the season.
Well, say not all through the season, he's a striker, he will still score, but he has put a benchmark for himself, doing like 30 goals in all competition this season. Imagine Osimhen doing like 10 goals next season. Nah.
I hope you know that there was this French striker that went to the World Cup. And he didn't score a goal, but he won the gold medal as World Cup winner. And he was part of the team.
It happens.
Yeah, and he was the striker.
It happens. We all know who you're talking about, yes. It happens. Personally, for me, I would say Napoli owners, would they let him go? Should they let him go? Obviously not. From a business point of view, from a trophy point of view, you want to keep that kind of player. Osimhen, think about yourself. Get selfish at some point next season. Or say at the end of next season. Just have it in mind. You cannot stay in Napoli for that long.
And with that, thank you so much, Jidechi, for this convo. It has been super exciting. It has been very engaging. But for our guys, for every conversation that we've had here, be it the Nigerian guys who were relegated to where do you think Messi should go, if Osimhen should stay, if Harry Kane should go stay, and who should Pochettino get rid of. Continue this conversation by putting down your comments right there. Or before you put in your comment, also just hit that subscribe button for Sport Convo. So with that, we'll catch you next week. Stay blessed. Bye for now.